Hello everyone, I'm Santiago and today I'm gonna be testing the entire Call of Duty franchise on the RTX 3050. So I already tested the Steam Deck, had the games downloaded, so I said what the hell, let's do it on the other cards I haven't tested it, the entire franchise on. So Call of Duty 1, I had to edit a config file to get 4K working, then on performance everything is on the highest and you get basically over 300 FPS. Lock it to 144, like this, with Reva Tuner. Link in the description on how to do this. So this one, not really much to say. All the games in this franchise I'm going to try to get the highest resolution possible, so most of the older ones will be at 4K or higher. Yeah, 4K will be my maximum. I won't go 8K with you guys. It's a pretty uncommon resolution. But this one could very easily do 8K. I mean, let's be honest. So if you lower the resolution, you'll get higher frame rates than what I'm showing you in this video. But this one, the very first one, completely fine. Call of Duty 2, 4K maximum settings. Maybe consider lowering anti-aliasing into 2x if you want better performance when you're in smoke. Sometimes smoke can kill performance. And since the frame rate counter doesn't work, it crashes the game for some reason, I will be locking the frame rate to 144 and using the in-game FPS counter that you see at the top right corner of the screen. Let's remove, there we go, that small square. Let's go, let's go. Let's go, comrades! Those do not explode. So Call of Duty 2, 4K 144, no problems whatsoever. Let's get into the next one. Boom, headshot. Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. So highest settings, 4K. Basically super easy to run, as expected. So let's jump into it. You're seeing, well, basically 200 FPS pretty often. My advice is to lock it to 144. Not sure if the scripted sequences will be affected by this. So you can enable VSync or lock the frame rate. So yeah. Let's jump into the next one. This one runs completely fine. As you can see, it drops to 100 FPS sometimes, even below if you're aiming down sights and there's grass. Otherwise, you should be okay. Let's get into the next one. World at War or Call of Duty 5, 4K highest settings. And this one is locked to 91 FPS. I'm guessing they found out that extremely high frame rates were going to be problematic for certain sequences, scripted sequences. That's my guess, I'm not sure if that's true, but it's completely fine, as you can see right now. And this one is one of my favorites actually. Highly recommend it if you never played it. I know World War II, but there is very few World War II games in this area of the world. The eastern side, the Pacific. It's pretty brutal as well, especially on veteran. I'm playing on recruits because I'm recording a video, you know. That's why it's so easy. But otherwise it can be very, very demanding on the player, especially with the grenade spam. So yeah, runs fine, still looks great, especially at 4K. And let's jump into the next one. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the original, 4K, everything on the highest. Maybe consider lowering anti-aliasing to 2 times if you experience any drops below 60. Especially in transparency heavy areas, so lots of smoke, you can make it drop. Especially in the upcoming area where you're on a big machine gun. Otherwise, completely enjoyable and fine over 60 all the time. There's a remaster of this one, which we're going to be checking out in a moment. But it's all fine on this one. Nothing to worry about. I mean, it's pretty old, but still. Good to see good compatibility right here. Now we're doing Call of Duty Black Ops, 4K, highest settings, even 8 times MSAA, completely unnecessary at 4K, but hey, we got tons of room to spare. Let's go. Another one locked to 90 FPS. Although with 8 times MSAA, we're probably going to drop into the 60s in some locations, but it will be okay. This is another one that I really enjoy. I guess those are my younger self memories. It's been a while, but I play a lot of it. I think it was my first PC my first PC game on Steam, actually, which was very uncommon at the time in South America. So yeah, completely fine. Still looks pretty good considering its age. It still looks pretty old. That's one of the things I love about PC gaming. The game still looks old, but you can use way higher resolution without any developer interaction. You just do it on your own. So let's get into the next one. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, 4K, highest settings, 4 times MSAA. Let's go. The very beginning has lots of enemies and effects, which is a good test. Again, if you lower the resolution, you're easily over 100 FPS all the time. I'm just doing the maximum possible resolution, so you have an idea on what to expect. But man, it's nice to play this at 4K. Yeah, my first time playing this was on the Nintendo Wii. Yeah, you heard it right, the Wii. 64 megabytes of video. It's really pared back visually, but the core game was there. When I played it on PC a few years later, man. Call of Duty Black Ops 2, 4K, almost the highest settings. I say almost because there's more anti-aliasing, but I'll keep it at 4 times. Depth of field on low because high looks the same but performs worse. Significantly worse, actually. Not sure what's up with this option. So let's get into it. This was the first one that allowed me to select my loadout before each mission when I replayed it. So you can actually play with modern weapons in this level if you wanted to, I think. Which is a nice touch if you want to replay it at some moment. But I really enjoyed this one when it came out, with the different endings that you could get and all that. Whoa. There we go. So this one runs fine. No questions asked here. Man, it's so much. Whoa, I got him. Nice aim, Mason. Let's get into the next one. Call of Duty Ghosts, 4K. In this case, I lowered the ambient occlusion, but really very poorly running game, even for its time. So dynamic fur is disabled because Nvidia Geforce feature. And this one is the first one that drops below 60, at least from this time frame. And the thing with this one is that if you use the scope in a sniper rifle, you're going to get performance drops. I'll show you very quickly. Let's grab the rifle. Go. And the scope is picture-in-picture, like in Insurgency and Insurgency Sandstorm. So it's way more demanding on the GPU. That's why we drop into the 40s when using a scope like this, which I don't usually use in this game, so I don't think it's a huge deal. But still, if you want to play this, I recommend 1440p or 1800p instead. Still, one of the worst performing at its time. Let's jump into the next one. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, 4K, almost the highest settings. I say almost because I lowered the ambient occlusion to normal from HBAO+. So as you can see, this one runs much better than Ghosts, despite looking better and coming after. So that's pretty interesting. So you can do 4K on this one just fine. I'm gonna love the wall-hack grenades and the flying grenades that do the work for you. Anybody else? Nope. Let's continue. Now let's attack them anyway. I'm doing a benchmark. Right? They're idiots. Anyway, let's jump into the next one. I think we saw enough of this one. We're doing Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and this one will be at 1440p. Some of the newer ones, the newer Call of Duties, will require this resolution now on this card. But if you go lower than this, it should be higher FPS. If you do 1080p, for example, everything on the highest at 1440p. Let's go. This was one of the big performance destroyers back then when it comes to Call of Duty. Out of the blue, the new Call of Duty was super demanding. I think this was when the PS4 came out, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while. My memory is not the same as it used to. But it's fine as long as you are targeting 60. If you're targeting like 100 FPS, consider 1080p instead. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, Call of Duty 4 with better graphics basically and some quality of life improvements. 4K, almost the highest settings. I say almost because instead of HBAO+, we have high SSAO. And that's basically it. Let's jump into it. If you haven't played this, the original Call of Duty 4, I recommend you play this version. It looks significantly better. Doesn't include multiplayer. Oh yeah, it does include multiplayer, but it's basically dead. But it's a very enjoyable single player experience. I cannot stress it enough. If you can check it out, please do. Although the sounds of the guns are very funny after playing the modern ones. This sounds, yeah, ridiculously, I don't know, it sounds like something else. It doesn't sound like a gun at all. It's like I'm dropping screws on the floor or something. Alright, let's jump into the next one. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. We're doing 4K native on this one. Textures on normal because high uses more than 8 gigabytes, believe it or not. Kinda crazy. Then the rest of the highest here. All like you see here. And in miscellaneous options, I just lowered the level of detail to high from extra. Extra is a little bit too much. Let's get back into it. Gotta open this door. Come on, where's my teammates? So as you can see, some minor drops below 60. No big deal if you ask me. But if you want more frames, you can always do 1440p. I think this is completely fine, considering this game is newer than Black Ops 3, and that one ran worse. But hey, pretty acceptable performance considering the resolution. Just make sure to lower those textures. You should be fine. Anyway, let's jump into the next one. Call of Duty World War II, 1440p native. There is pretty 2x resolution, but we're not going to use it here. Everything basically on the highest, except in shadows. Except in shadows, which are on high. This is a big performance hit. And basically everything maxed out. So let's get right into it.
Get off the road. We'll circle around. Move.
And as you can see, over 60. If you want to use pretty 2x resolution, still looks pretty good. But you're going to get a performance uplift. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, this one is not difficult to run at all. And it looks pretty good, in my opinion. I like the visual aesthetic of it. What feels weird to me is having no regenerating health in a Call of Duty game. Manual heals just feels odd after playing the rest of the franchise. But at least it tried something different. Anyway, let's jump into the next one. Black Ops 4, 1440p, and basically the highest settings. So this game really is online only, so it doesn't have a campaign. I don't think most people are going to even touch this one, but hey, here it is. The first Call of Duty to have a Battle Royale mode. After that they just made Warzone for free. Remember, this was a paid game, $60. And it's using all my VRAM. I should probably lower those textures. But hey, that's an option. Okay, the bots are just killing it. So yeah, that's basically it. It runs fine. Just do 1440p. You can do 4K, but I don't think it's worth doing, considering it will drop below 60 on this one. And you're probably not going to play this. It's multiplayer only, unless you play with bots. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. So this one will be at 1440p, basically with the quality maxed out, except in the DLSS that's disabled if you want to use it. Maybe 4K needs it, but 1440p is fine. I just disabled motion blur and depth of field, and the shadows were lowered to high, and no ray tracing. If you want to use ray tracing, lower those textures and enable DLSS. And I'm playing the campaign because it runs worse than the multiplayer. Multiplayer is smaller maps and less effects. Okay, run. So yeah, it runs fine, as you can see, over 60, 1440p. If you do 1080p, it's going to be so much better on the performance side, probably into the hundreds of FPS. On campaign, I wouldn't really try to get 100 FPS, but if you're playing multiplayer, maybe use DLSS or just go for 1080p. You should be good to go. What the hell, they do have masks? No, just broken textures on that one. What the hell? Okay, let's jump into the next one. Call of Duty Warzone 1 is now called Warzone Caldera, and only people that played the original Warzone or own Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 can get into it. Unfortunately, it's basically abandoned. Nobody's playing that. Everybody moved on to Warzone 2, as far as I know. I couldn't find a match for the life of me. I've been looking, couldn't find anybody playing it. But that's the thing, it's limited to people that already played Warzone, the first one, or their own Modern Warfare 2019. So, yeah, let's jump into the next one. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered. So this is not Modern Warfare 2 2022, this is the original, but remastered, like on Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. So we're on the highest settings, except in ambient occlusion, basically like that, with 4K resolution. So native 4K, almost the highest settings, and it's 60 frames per second. There's not really much to say about this. It's an improved version of the original Modern Warfare 2. And it's weird to see Shepard like that. But hey, it works. So looks better than the original, controls better, at least in my opinion. Runs worse, but again, it looks so much better that I do not mind. It's how it should be. Anyway, let's jump into the next one. This one, 4K just fine, almost the highest settings, over 60 all the time. Let's go. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, another 1440p one. So no DLSS on this one, I lower textures to high. If you can and are able to, for 70 gigabytes or 60 gigabytes, you can use HT models. So keep that in mind. The game might stutter more though, due to the extra texture quality. Then basically high settings, except in the order independent transparency, that's disabled. And if you want to use DLSS, feel free to do so. Although you can also do 1080p if you need more frames. And I'm playing the campaign because it runs worse than the multiplayer, basically. So some minor drops into the low 60s, sorry, into the upper 50s. Without the FPS scanner, honestly, I do not notice. So yeah, very enjoyable. I think this one is underrated, personally. I enjoyed the story on this one a little bit too much. So I recommend you give it a shot as well. Let's jump into the next one. Call of Duty Vanguard. On this one we start doing 1080p. You can do 1440p, but I recommend DLSS in that case. We're doing basically high settings with only the spot cache size on ultra for more memory for the shadows, the spot shadows. What else? Yeah, basically high settings with SMAA T2X and no DLSS, so native 1080p. So as you can see there, we get 60s. This is the more demanding part that I found in the game. Lots of effects with the rain and all the shadows that are moving around due to these lights. Those lights also generate volumetrics. So yeah, pretty effect heavy in this level, which makes complete sense. It's going to improve in later levels. That's why I did 1080p. You can do 1440p, but remember that you're going to need DLSS. Otherwise, you should be good to go. Anyway, personally, I don't like this one, but it works. So there you go. Next one. Call of Duty Warzone 2. Basically Modern Warfare 2, but with the Battle Royale free part. 1080p on this one as well. We're not using DLSS right now, but you can use it for higher frame rates. That the option is there. Basically high settings, as you can see right here. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, here we go. About to jump from the plane. Remember the target is 60 frames per second without DLSS. We might try DLSS later for higher frame rates. So looking outside at the entire map, seems to be fine. So, start. I would say. We'll see once we start doing something. But this is a good start, in my opinion. So once my teammates jump, I'll jump. Come on, teammates. Okay, we're going that way. Hope we can follow them. Yeah, looking at the entire map, we're still okay. Not getting there though. So screwed. Oh well. Gotta be faster. Excellent. Oh, shotgun. Nice. And the rifle. Okay. So far so good. Although when I aim down sights, it's a little bit problematic. Okay, got him. So aiming down sights with the scope is problematic, but by problematic I mean it drops into the 50s. I mean, it's not unplayable by any means. It's fine. So let's very quickly jump into DLSS. Now that we're here, we might as well. Doing DLSS quality, because this is 1080p. That still looks great. And we got that extra frame rate that we needed. Let's see. Yeah, with the scope now, we're good to go. Perfect. So 1080p, high settings, quality DLSS, you're over 60 all the time, even when scoping in. I saw someone, I'm pretty sure. There he is. Come on. Oh man, I'm so bad.
Well done.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So that took less than I intended. So that's good, at least I got one. And this is the big map. So there's two maps, a small map and a bigger map. So this is the bigger one, and it's fine. You can do native 1080p, although DLSS quality looks fine. So I would probably use that in real life. No big deal. So let's very quickly do performance DLSS just to see what happens. Visually it's going to be, yeah, it looks softer, still usable, but now we're CPU limited. So our CPU cannot do 100 FPS here. As you can see, the GPU is at 60%. So you're not getting 100 FPS with this CPU. So my advice again, keep quality DLSS and you should be good to go. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the one from 2022, not the other two Modern Warfare 2s that we tried before this one. So 1080p on this one. Basically high settings with a little bit lower the particle quality level for some of the gunfights. Then it's basically high, as you can see right here, and the ambient occlusion only for static objects. You can add the dynamic ones as well if you put both. Personally, for a tiny bit more performance in the campaign, I like putting it in like this. And I lower the weather grid volumes a little bit as well. So since we're in the campaign, the target is only 60 frames per second. If you want more FPS, use DLSS. I mean, quality DLSS looks good enough, in my opinion. So yeah, all up to you. Again, since this is the campaign, I don't mind 60 frames with native resolution also, so big win in my opinion. And after this we're doing the multiplayer, which will be targeting a higher frame rate.
Faster. Take the door. Doorway, right side.
I already played this part so many times.
Good shots, hermano.
I'm already used to this.
That sign. John,
Okay,
prepara la brecha.
we continue. More smoke. Still 60s. So we should be good. I won't hit him, right? Oh yeah, it did. What the hell? Let's go. Man, it looks so good. It's ridiculous. Alright, so that's it. Let's jump into multiplayer. The difference here, I mean, same settings, but I'm using DLSS quality. Because in multiplayer, I like to have a little higher frame rates. If you have a high refresh rate display, that can be a blessing. It will be over 80 frames, which is good because you need very quick reflexes. Whoa, see? That's what I was talking about. The guy that never sleeps and plays the game all night. That's the one you gotta be careful about. He's probably playing at 30 frames per second, I'm sure. Go. Got him. So DLSS quality. In the campaign I use no DLSS. How did he get me? I don't use DLSS in the campaign because in the campaign I'm targeting 60. So yeah, that's my logic behind it. If you want more FPS on the campaign, consider DLSS, but it's more difficult to get there. Maps are bigger, there's AI involved, so it's harder to do. How did he know I was here? Anyway, let's try performance DLSS. As you can see, quality looks great and performs very well as well. With performance, we're doing half the resolution. Still looks, I mean, it's still playable, but it's softer than quality DLSS. So in this, you're actually sacrificing image quality quite a bit in comparison to quality. But you're always over 100 FPS, so far at least. Oh, I have a shotgun. I forgot. Oh, frick, dang it. I forget that people in this game has grenades. I play too much single player. So you can actually do 100 FPS as long as your CPU can do it. Oh, so close.
Enemy in the area. I'm with you. Reloading. Requesting immediate throwing grenade.
Hostile UAV in the area. Enemy UAV active.
So yeah, very enjoyable. And that's basically the entire Call of Duty franchise on the 3050. As you can see, most of them can be played at 4K and 1440p. Only the very new ones I dropped to 1080p, but you can do 1440p as well with DLSS if you want to. I try to be realistic. Most people watching this video planning on buying on this GPU are targeting 1080p. That's my guess, of course. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more, please like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see ya next time. Bye guys. Thanks for watching.
UAV